Yo, I don't look. I'm doing this not even off the top of my head, but you are about to be assaulted by at least, at least let's say 25 minutes worth of my time. All right. I'm gonna jump into it and work my way back because at this point in this digression of everything that people are talking about, everything that's like moving the way that they move, the online left, and I've made a video about this. We are back in the same conversation about men not being able to be open in or about emotions, and we kind of discard the learning process of men when it comes to education towards being a better quote unquote man. You know what I mean? Like, I think y'all know what I'm talking about. Now look, I am not ready to play this intersectionality card within this argument today. I might do it 20 minutes into this 20 minutes into this video, but let's just assume I don't, okay? Because that needs to be a separate. Yes, this discourse. Why is it pretending like it's not low? Oh, because it's got to stay up. Okay. I'm using Chatterino for the first time instead of like in actual chat widgets, so I got to get used to this. Look, I'm going to try to, and I know I've been stuttering and stammering for 2 minutes now. I'm going to try to run through everything because there's something I want to say. And it, sadly, whenever you mention Bosch or you mention Hassan or you mention Destiny, whenever you mention one of these three people, for some reason you have to be debate bro all the way. And as FD Signifiers already said, black people don't respond to hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit that bell to stay notified. So like, I'm doing this live and I'm trying to really wrap my head around how dumb this has become and how quickly I want to make it something that's worth talking about. Step number one, this discourse about men not being able to be accepted within the leftist space because anybody who comes from a different place to start like doesn't have the empathetic response necessary to really become a. First of all, it's very funny that like I see people have a discussion where the main topic, the main point is and was, and yes, I am literally going to read this take for take here. Give me a second, sorry. I cannot stress enough how important it is to understand that 12-year-old white boys on Twitch are not being pulled into fascism because of some Machiavellian desire to preserve and expand their privileges. It's because the right talks to them and the left doesn't. Leftists and progressives have absolutely no idea how unnecessarily repellent they come off to so many people, and they get angry at the idea of being a more effective social movement because they don't want to share their social spaces with people who might have gone another way. All right. All right. All right. All right. To start here, the discourse that he generated through this tweet is the proof of the point he's making. And that's my problem, is that I hate handing it to anybody. Because if I hand it to Vosh right now, I'm considered a dick-sucking clout sucker. Because that's the only way people see a younger... I wouldn't even say younger. Maybe we're the same age. He could be older. I could be older for all I know. when people see leftist spaces and you immediately respond to a big creator with your little video and it gets a couple views, or the guy sees it or whatever, or the woman sees it, immediately, I gotta do this and I gotta do that to prove. Anyway, this is part of why I'm saying it was very hard for me to put this together. This entirety of this conversation is quite literally why more people are apropos to listen to right-wingers, because right-wingers like to sucker you in. If people like me could have found their way on a 4chan and bullied people in real life, it could have been very easy for me to continue down that pipeline. I happen to live in a city where right-wing ideals didn't make sense with the people I was around. There was barely, if not any, white people around me until gentrification really started pouring in. So when I would go downtown, when I would go here, there, and everywhere, when I would teach here, there, and everywhere in New York City, I was always around different races, including white people. So that never fit for me. But there are plenty of people who that could have fit for. This discourse, his point about the right talking to them and the left doesn't, is this. There is no leftist, and I know how dumb this is gonna sound. There is really no intangible leftist Andrew Tate, because we don't think that way. And I'm saying we as in like leftist mask people. And I'm really making a generalization because if I were to try to do this for every specific person in case, we're gonna get into intersectionality. And again, I told you, I don't want to have that argument today. I think that's fair. But I gotta hand it to him. The response he got to this statement is exactly the point. People are going to see that. Those fringe cases that you always want to debate in the marketplace of ideals, these are the same people that see this and be like, yo, they really beating his ass in the QRTs. Maybe that's not such a welcoming space. The very first reply, I'm not even going to read the last two tweets because like that's beside the point. So the first tweet up there, you always find a way to blame women for violence against them. It's really simple, man. It's nobody's responsibility to save some sexless losers. They're not the only people suffering from social isolation, but most aren't becoming fascists as a result. Wonder why? What the fuck are you talking about? And that's my whole thing, is that there's no arguing these things anymore. There's no arguing these statements. There's no Sure, Vosh made a clickbait video. Okay. You know what the biggest problem with leftist spaces is that nobody want to say I'm sorry. I have never heard anybody say, and this is me personally, because I just, I don't sit there watching every debate and every interaction. Nobody's like, yo, I really fucked up, bro. I'm sorry. Like, I didn't really mean it that way. I made the video, it came out wrong. I'd gladly do a retraction. We could maybe make some content together where we discuss it and really but we're gonna start with, I messed up and I wanna hear your perspective. And maybe even if I don't agree with you and I fucking hate you, I can at least agree to say, I fucked up there. And we can move on from there. No, that's never gonna happen. Instead, you have to be perfect. Which is why I keep ending up saying, maybe we should but this is beside the point. As someone who was close to falling down that pipeline, you're wrong. So very wrong. I've seen hundreds of videos attacking online feminism before I'd ever seen feminism happening online. That's not my reality. Who are you? Who are these people? Why does he get to generate this discourse? Because y'all don't know how to interpret an argument as a non-binary truth. Like, it is annoying. This is why I want to address this. Because it shouldn't be a conversation. This response that you're like... The right wingers are the cool ones. They've got a Jordan Peterson, a Ben Shapiro, a Candace Owens. They've got that. Boom, bang, bang, boom, bang. We've got who? Vosh, Hassan, Mehdi Hassan, John Oliver, Jon Stewart. We've got national TV hosts. Okay, so everybody who's not online. The alt-right isn't picking newspapers. They're not picking newspapers anymore. They're internet, reaching them quickly. Discord chats. Buffalo shooter. Discord. But nobody, I swear to God, nobody mentioned that. Nobody mentioned how, oh, he did though. Vosh did. Vosh did. Somebody else did. Then we forgot about it. We need to have a conversation on how to be more empathetic as men. I'm sorry. The algorithm, these people, and I'm sorry to Vosh, I'm sorry to Hassan, I'm sorry to Ethan Klein, I'm sorry to every Andrew Schultz, I'm sorry to like every podcaster. If you even remotely touch leftist issues in a way, or you identify as I'm not with the misogynoir, I'm not with that type of conversation, the algorithm does not favor you. And that puts these people's lives in jeopardy. And that's not their fault. That's not their fault. And this is where I'm finally going to say, I'm going to hand it to all these creators. It is not their job to create this content. It is our job as consumers to not get sucked into the algorithm and look for what we're supposed to look for, to promote who we're supposed to promote. But we put the onus on these people to change their whole brand instead of pouring all our resources into a person who turns, not him, not Vosh, this is not a comment about Vosh. I'm repeating, this is not a comment about Vosh, not a comment about Hassan, not about any streamer. Or not about any content creator. But we have heard stories in the past of people being, committing sexual assault. We've heard stories of people doing the worst heinous shit, rug pulls. We got millionaires literally robbing people blind and shit. All this stuff that we used to fear and hate when we were kids. Oh yeah, I'm not gonna get you. You're not gonna run a lick on me. Happening on major scales right now. When you're worried about this take, the reason why Logan Paul, the reason why NFTs we watched, you know me. I was a part of the beginning of the Bored Ape Nazi Club. Like, I was, not to say I helped build any piece of it, but I was there. I was there when that was a fragment in the idea of a mind of somebody. Yeah, I didn't fall down that pipeline. I never got to see but events that I was there for helped shape that. Who gives a fuck about a black person in that scenario? Those 4chan boards back there, you couldn't escape the N-word. It wasn't a pleasant place for us. But I was there though. Y'all hear people talk about this over and over and over again, about this need for the so-called online left to have this generous sphere of empathy towards anybody who walks into it. The reason why that is failing is because there are people who these right-wingers will talk to that don't see a way to de-radicalize an audience. They see a way to get clicks. They see a way to keep their name relevant. They see a way to get people to say, oh, this person tried to have a conversation with them and they got owned in the marketplace of ideals. I guess we're being set back. Or, oh my God, they owned him. I guess now he's a clown and he's going to go away, not knowing how to deplatform their ideas once they're spoken about. If I tell you why everything about Nazism is bad, I'm still platforming the idea. Unless I destroy it in that same breath, I'm not doing anything but presenting it to you and saying, here, it's a valid thought. The idea of leftism at this point is to deny any of these as valid thoughts. Anything alt-right, anything close to totalitarianistic, anything close to fascist. No, these are not valid ideals anymore. The people who promote this, the right that he's talking about that talks to them, doesn't blend their ideas in like, oh, going straight to, well, I think them Hasidics are bad, they don't jump there. We do, because our brains have seen enough pain and torture that we're wondering, how could you even remotely think that what they're saying is even valid? That bias makes you automatically feel and look morally superior. And because your brain hasn't deciphered the distance between these two ideas yet, you end up with two versions of this argument, where the left does enough, but we don't give a shit about it because of algorithms, AI, computers, the way Twitter works, the way social media works, etc. And you end up with the other idea. The left just never gave a shit. So how do people end up on the left? You just gotta be it, right? Yeah, you just wake up one day and be it. The right gives time. The left says, do it now. That's what this conversation became. Now that we've gotten this far away from the point, do you see why this conversation is dumb? Do you see how far you'd have to take this thought to get there? That's what you guys are arguing. That's not what he's arguing. That's not even what he's saying. A lot of y'all aren't built for these type of conversations. A lot of y'all are children, and I'm just going to put it that way. Either mentally or quite literally, you are children. The streets, the hood that y'all claim y'all be from sometimes, no. These conversations don't happen. We don't become, y'all be wondering why the media is able to pull that thug shit with black people. Okay, put it to you this way, because I wasn't even going to bring this up. And that's why I said I didn't want to do intersectionality, because it's just such an easy dunk. It's just such an easy one. Are you sure? Are you like 110% sure that what you pulled out of there was 100% pure Sam? Maybe a little piece of him's left in the cage. Maybe you left a little piece of Sam in the cage, Dean. None of this is talked about the trauma that people literally have to pull themselves from when they exist in a right-wing space. If these people see these ideas and like them, it's because there's something to gain from it. This is now getting into pure theory, the purest of it. Why are these men and women being pulled into this in this time frame? Because every time somebody mentions any of it, I guarantee you I look down that thread and I'm going to see a bunch of people saying, aren't you the guy who advocated for child porn? What the fuck are you talking about? Why are you bringing that up now? Okay, get rid of Vosh. Get rid of Hassan. All right? Vosh has done fucked up shit. He's gone. He's done. Dylan Burns done did fucked up shit. He's gone. Soda Poppin done did fucked up shit. Ms. Kip done did fucked up shit. XQC done fucked up shit. Trainwrecks done did. Okay, eliminate all your top players. Who are you next up on the line? FD Signifier? Does he want that? Do you even ask him if you want that? You built communities around these ideas and then tried to act like roaches, like I'm gonna take his words and just fly. So I can't fucking stand Destiny. And he's on a new arc now. These conversations and some of these content creators that like talk about men's issues literally feel like Chris Jericho to me. They reinvent themselves like every 3 years. Every like 3 years, bro. And y'all just pour money into them. Oh my God. And it's like, some people got to deal with poverty on a scale you ain't never even felt. Oh, but you're so privileged, Paradigm, you get to stream. In 24 hours from the day this video drops, I might not even be able to do this no more. We ain't even going to talk about it anyway. Men aren't asking to be coddled. How do you approach men's issues from a leftist perspective? Do you have a guide on that? Do you know why certain people feel excluded from this space? Right wingers don't care. They will use anyone to their last drop. They are vampires, literally sucking it dry, man. Literally sucking it dry, man. And y'all just, I don't know if it's like you pretend that this isn't happening. You pretend that like you can't see what is attractive about being on the left. What, like, you really have to start, if you're gonna have these conversations, pouring closer and closer to a climate crisis, pouring closer and closer to the rise of a full, like, thinking, breathing organism known as the American alt-right Nazi Party, if we're gonna go that far. You have to be ready to say, how did we get here? Right wingers get results. Left wingers complain. Look at the fucking House right now. Look, Matt Gaetz is voting for Donald Trump. They literally don't give a fuck. And they're going to score points with the little incels that you hate so much how do you get them? The people who like Matt Gaetz. Matt Gaetz didn't do anything wrong. Jordan Peterson's a cool guy. How do you argue against that? Who's your guy for that? Destiny? Hassan? They don't want to do that. Who's the arbiter who stands in that for second thought? Video essayists? And so you've got nobody who touches grass and can just tell you, hey, what's the end goal for your thoughts here? Let's really break it down. Let's say you're a right winger. You're a young boy maybe ages 14 to 18. You're getting introduced into online spaces, and somehow you've been sucked into a portal of thinking Muslims are bad. How do you de-radicalize them? How did that person get there in the first place? Well, every time he tried to figure out something about race, and every time he was seeing the shit on the news, the right wingers would pull up with, here's data here, here's this there, here's that there. All of it was bullshit, but he didn't know that. They cherry picked this. The left said, you think Muslims are bad? Ew, get away from me. Why would you even ask me about that? Well, I had heard that, like, there was some disruptions in... Okay, we're gonna be facetious with this. I don't literally mean this. I just hope that people get how, like, the lines can get crossed in this example, just for the sake of it, stick with me. Well, I had heard somebody had done some jihad shit in Syria, and then my friends said, like, it's been a rampant, like, 12 bombings by, like, extreme Muslim jihadist Islamic tradition. Is that what they do? Isn't that what happened at 9/11? They'll start saying shit, and you'll start getting so disgusted that they even entertained it. You turn yourself off, just like you turned yourself off when you heard me saying it. You know what I'm saying is bullshit because I told you it was. They don't present it like that, though. The left will really react like that because look what you just did. Y'all be proving the points when you speak. Nobody's making you tweet nothing. Nobody's making us use these websites. Nobody's making us have conversations. Nobody's making us be on Twitch. Nobody is making us exist online. In some form or fashion, yes, you have to have a digital footprint. You have to be connected to a website somewhere to log into something or do something. Yes, this is true. But nobody's making you think this way. Men aren't asking to be coddled when they become super pompous jackasses who surf at the beach and disrespect women because it's cool. The attitude that they take is based on their environment, the same way as I wanted to escape intersectionality. Why do you think people get into gangs? Product of their environment, right? Well, if you can't control an internet environment and all ideas are valuable, you don't think some people are just naturally going to fall into the alt-right pipeline? Do you think they're just now going to fall into the alt-right pipeline because they're bad? Because it's bad? Oh, it's bad. You know what else is bad? Having democratic leadership that promises to do something and then says, in 4 years, if you reelect me, Jack, we're gonna get it again. We gotta defend ourselves from fascism. American fascism is on the rise. We gotta. Are you sure you're talking about what you think you're talking about? Or are you projecting your feelings onto a situation? Yes, the obvious truth is just to be transparent. Most of the shit conservatives say. I personally believe that conservatism is dying as a social product. Like, technology, the advancement of humankind just moved past the need for anything. Huh? I believe that, like, we just move past the need for conservatism. Like, it's over for them. They just want to take shit away. They want Christo-fascism. Like, I don't want to get into it. I just think it's dead. Like, I really think it's on life support, and we're all realizing it, but we don't know what to do with that information, and that's gonna take 50, 60, maybe even 100 years to really come to grips with. Climate crisis is coming, and people still posting misinformation. Oh, it's just good weather. Why are you complaining? Oh, it's warm now. What happened to climate change? I thought it was gonna be icy and oh, da, da, da. Case in point. Can we all do me just a solid favor? Shut the fuck up, cause you don't really care, and I can tell you don't really care because I be around. I've been in your groups. I've been in your little chats. I've been in your forums. I don't really give a shit. This is just the newest thing for you to get angry over. Now, if you want to really dive into this, I ain't doing it alone. So, Vosh, ball's in your court.